headset on. Hello, everyone. It's important to have your headset on when you start the stream, and not just forget to be sticking it on your little head there. Anyway, I'm still getting a couple little last things set up, but I am live now. So yeah, we're just going to kind of monitoring a few adjustments that I've made real quick. Make sure that all of them kick up like they're supposed to, and make sure that Streamlabs and not Streamlabs, Stream Avatars and Elden Ring are going to play nicely together. Because I did run into some issues with Stream Avatars and PlateUp last night. So we'll see if they play nicely here, and kind of just getting a few things up and going. I'm going to make sure that all of my media notifications kind of have set off too as well while I get things set up. All right. I'm supposed to have a little friend of mine who makes a notification on Twitch if I'm live. That doesn't seem to be, that one at least doesn't seem to be firing off. That's okay. I kind of had a feeling they wouldn't. Stream Avatars is booting up. You should see that pretty soon. And let's make a little tweet real quick. All right. Woo. I'm gonna get pretty good at this. But like, I want to announce that I'm live on Twitter now. I'm gonna like try to actually pay attention to my Twitter. But at the same time, come on, there we go. I used to have it automated because Streamlabs would automatically post to Twitter when I went live, and it was a very like kind of pre-set up message. But I never liked how it went. I just realized I can draft messages though, so we might look at drafting a message in the future, because that sounds like a pretty good way to do it. Okay, frame rate's looking good. Streamlabs is up and playing nice. Oops. I just realized I don't have a way to see chat. Let's get that fixed. I am so sorry if someone's been chatting. There we go. And it's not gonna let me move it. Okay. So that activity feed in there. What you doing, stream chat? Why you stuck in a bad spot? I'm gonna get it open on my phone so I can kind of watch it better. Okay. Now I'm keeping that up. This is just for any of you who are catching this, whether it's hey, StreamCord is working. And I think I just got followed by a spam bot on Twitter. So good. That is a victory. Anyway, why are you like this, chat box? I want you here. No. Hello, Moth. Hello. One of your favorite artists is Ableist Cats, and I can't tell if they're joking or not. That is. I'm on the quiet side. That is probably because I haven't actually put my mic close to my mouth yet. I forgot to put my headset on at all. Is that a little better? Yeah, the mic is very directional. So yeah, what I'm trying to figure out, and I it's the thing is finally fixed my scale on my OBS. 'Cause I couldn't figure out what was going on, but now it's not letting me move the chat window. Ooh. Yeah, I just got your screenshot. That's I think they're joking. Okay. So I'm gonna say this as someone who is as neurodivergent as I know you are. They were joking. It was not a good joke, but that definitely was them trying to make a joke. If they've deleted it, that might be them trying to back out and realizing it wasn't the best joke. Um, yeah, I would see how they follow up. That was an attempt. That was an attempt to make a joke. Just not a very good one. Take it as you will. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the artist, but I can tell from the tone that it was an attempt at a joke. Okay. You literally unfollowed because of the joke? Yeah, it's not. In general, making a joke about ableism is not a good thing to do. You think a lot of people would get that, but whoop, it's the mindset. Like if you were ever making, I don't know. I know I made a lot of jokes as a kid that were bad and kind of along that line. So okay, what does? Oh, I just found a nice button. Oh, that makes it. Oh, that makes this way easier. I'm finding all sorts of magic buttons now, but I can't move the chat dock. Can I resize the chat dock? I don't get what it's doing on me. Unlock it. Um, hmm. It's annoying. I finally fixed this so it looks nice, and then I can't actually do anything. I mean, this is exactly what always happens. I'm gonna break everything so I can fix it. Oh, that didn't actually break anything too badly. Okay, I don't need that one. Um, we do need to grab that. There we go. Now we're actually getting somewhere. Sorry, I'm just fixing my OBS real quick, and then we'll actually get the game launched. Ah, there it is. I lost the bar on the top to let me move it around, which is like super important. Oh, this is kind of random. Am I showing the right game this time? Am I showing Elden Ring? And it's supposed to be Elden Ring this time? Yeah, okay. And my title says practically beginnings or something like that. We're all showing proper there again. Okay. I want you to. I'm missing. Ooh, oh, okay. There. Sorry, just to get the camera in a better place. Bump the camera. Okay. I want you to slide in. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then this guy, I usually like to go in here. Maybe. There he goes. And this one. Okay. I'm like 90% of the way where I need to be. Just trying to push for that last little bit. Okay, now that I've absolutely um screwed this stream stats wise, let's get this going. Drop the chat bar all the way down and squidge it just a little bit so it's nice. Okay. All right. I fixed OBS. Just had to literally restart the whole thing, but it fixed OBS. And now it's just time to watch Elden Ring, which should be good to go. I had it up and going before without issue. I always find it a little bit of an adventure live. I will say, I do have proper water for hydration. If you get any hydration points from, oh yeah, corgi sticker. I should really look up the artist of that. It was a birthday gift from my wife because corgis are my favorite dog. Um, no, that is not support for Queen Elizabeth. I just like corgis. Even bad people can have good taste sometimes. Ooh, but this is called a. This is just diet cola from like a fancy soda stream thing that we got forever ago. But I wanted a little bit of caffeine this time around, so I got way too much soda to make last. But then I also have proper hydration, so don't worry about my health too much. Anyway, how are you doing, Moth? Sorry you jumped in there like while I was dealing with a million things. Let's turn that ring light back on. I have, uh, as this has been discussed on stream before, I have like ADHD. Most likely, it is a self-diagnosis because self-diagnosis is valid. I'm not gonna have that argument here. I know Moth's on my same page with this one. Because I currently do not have health insurance, which I'm working on fixing as soon as possible. But going to a doctor is really expensive, even when you do have health insurance to get a diagnosis. So right now, it is helping myself how I can. Caffeine helps me function, and so we have the caffeine because I work grave shifts. I do watch the amount that I'm having. Like I'm not crazy. I promise you, Elden Ring is launching. It's just being very slow. Anyway, no. I normally take my caffeine in the form of Diet Coke. I am one of those people. I just like the way it tastes. I like that it's not sweet. You went on a Monster Energy run today. They even have Rehab, which is your favorite. I had my first Monster Energy drink. Um, couple months ago. Never drank Monster. I was a Kickstart kid. I drink Mountain Dew Kickstart, which is not really an energy drink, but that's what I drank. Um, for the longest time, that was like it for me and energy drinks. And then I got really into recently. Ultra Paradise is green apple. It's really good. Green apple sounds good. I got into my current go-to energy drink. If I'm going to drink an energy drink, is called Celsius, and I like them. The best way I explain them is they're kind of like if Gatorade and if Gatorade Zero and energy drink had a baby. Um, but I like that. I like that about them. What are you doing? It's launching Elden Ring. It's being very slow. It's also got a wacky resolution going on. Let's do this. Ooh, that's very loud. You can probably hear that. How's the sound of that? This one that tastes like Nerds candy. I don't know what it's called. It's pink with rose pattern and textured can. Interesting. Sounds interesting. Oh, looks like we have Gray joining us. Long time no see, Gray. Ultra Rose. Ultra Rose Rose. Ooh, I'm still way loud here. Oh. Frames are not happy. We might have to ditch the Streamlabs. We will see. We will see. Or not Streamlabs. Stream avatars. Ooh, no, we don't want to have double Daffy. Mute that. Go there. Okay. Ooh, yeah, my frames are looking bad. It's not even capturing the game yet. 1 second, I'm gonna try to fix this. I'm attempting to fix it. It's not a Daffy stream if we don't have difficulties. Oh boy. The Elden Ring thing will probably resize here. Or not. It's gonna just stay in its little corner. I will have to resize it manually, which it doesn't like. Okay. Borderless windowed should help tremendously with some of the lag. Okay. Will you guys let me know if you're still there? I think I've like lost everything. The stream's dying hardcore. I'm trying to stabilize, but you're here. Am I like PowerPoint presenting? I want to switch to borderless window. Okay, enter. What do you want me to do? Okay. Let's try swapping it to windowed first. Are you what? Am I a PowerPoint presentation? As in like freeze framing? Like am I all roboto glitching out here? We used to always call it PowerPoint presentating back in the days of Lotro. Oh yes, I am. Yeah, figured as much. My resolution has just Elden Ring absolutely did not want to play nice. Still not playing nice, to be honest. Oh boy. We might have to turn off stream avatars for now. If I'm gonna play Elden Ring. Which I don't like doing, because I like my stream avatars. Oh, actually... I might have an idea. Daffy difficulties. I could just start calling them difficulties. We're going to be experiencing some technical difficulties. Task Manager isn't responding. Oh, that's fun. What am I going to do with Task Manager not responding? Give it a minute. Okay. I don't need you. You can go away. Okay, it's now responding. But... And that did that. Okay. Okay, give that top priority. Close. Get that reset. Okay. Am I still framing, or do you see me working now? It seems better. I mean, I'm going to move back and forth. Am I a PowerPoint presentation, or am I moving relatively smoothly? Smooth? Okay. This didn't fire up like it's supposed to, so we're going to fire that up manually. Okay. Oh, boop-a-doop-a-doop. Okay. We are going to try round 2 of Elden Ring. Um, with several little adjustments that I have made. And we are going to see if this works. We will find out if it does. Okay. Oh, stream avatars went away. Okay, that's fun. Oh, it's because Steam decided to close. I absolutely... Okay. Get this back up. They're both trying to open at once, so I'm watching my frame rate. It's not yelling and screaming at me yet, but it looks like it's getting ready to. Yeah, there it is. There's the first little bit. Okay. Okay. Maybe. I'm not seeing my frames tank yet. And I'm potentially seeing what looks to be an Elden ring that is opening. Oh, stream avatars came back. Woohoo. Okay. Oh, we might be getting somewhere. It's all progress. My bottle is too big for my straw. This is the longest straw I had, but I still have to fish it out. Get my little bit of caffeine fix. Oh, yeah, that is a. Oh, we'll see if it starts. I'm assuming you can hear it. I don't know why it's not capturing it again. Might have to make some adjustments. But my frames aren't dropping into the abysmal. They're just a little bit. They're a little bit awkward. How's it looking? I mean, I know you're not seeing Elden Ring yet, but we looking relatively moving around, still stable, or we hitting slideshows? I can usually tell when we're going slideshows. I have information like FPS, average time to render frames, missing frames, etc., that I can kind of see and keep an eye on and kind of see what's going. And everything looks good, except for the fact that Elden Ring just closed. Okay. I have a backup game. Have a backup game today. This is what happens when you don't stream in 4 months. You lose everything. And I'm just not here for that today. It needs to knock it off with this nonsense. Okay, that's looking good. This is the cleanest start we've had so far. Might have just had to like get a few kinks out of the system, as it were. Still don't like how that sounds. Anyway. Okay. Bum ba dum ba da 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 dum ba dum ba dum bum bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. That might be under copyright. I probably shouldn't sing that. It might be under copyright. If I get a copyright song strike for my singing, though, I will take that as the ultimate compliment. Bum, ba, 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 da, da, bum. That is Diet Dr. Pete. It is SodaStream's knockoff Dr. Pepper. It tastes nothing like Dr. Pepper, but it's kind of nice. What it does, however, have is copious amounts of caffeine. It is launching again for the third time. It is going a little quicker this time. I can tell you that right away. Anyway, did I lose all of you, or do I got you still here? Your technical difficulties and all that. I think Elden Ring just got mad because I had to switch screens around a little bit. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna have to do that again. Let's do it quickly. I mean, this is running a lot smoother. We'll see if that works. Oh, maybe. Immediate FPS tanked. Immediately. Oh, but it popped back up. And it's just vibing. You stay behaving. You do it. I don't hear sound. Okay, now I hear sound. Detected frame rate issue. Is it gonna let me do? Oh, that's good. That's what I've been wanting it to do. Yes. Okay, it actually let me switch that to borders window. Let's get this cranked up to where it should actually be. Yeah, we'll do 1920 1080. Audio. You still there, Moth? Yeah? Can you hear it? It's gonna get real angry here for a moment. Okay. Oh, that's an adventure. Let's get that. Nope. Okay. My frame rate looks stable. I'm seeing the game. Are you seeing the game? We might have pulled this off. He wants me to restart the game to play online. Don't want to restart it again. Like, I know we're gonna try new game. We're gonna just go offline for the time being. Okay. I need to pick. So as mentioned, I do know that I did have on stream. I started a playthrough about 4 months ago. I streamed it for 4 hours and I remember nothing. None of it. So this is a clean, fresh restart. Because I want this to be a good, clean, fresh restart and kind of a relaunch into Elden Ring and just kind of making sure that it goes well. So, the question is, what class do I go as? Because I don't remember much about this. I mean, I can assume Cleric and Sorcerer. I can assume that's kind of like the Thief. Kind of leaning towards maybe this is probably your Knight, probably your Warrior class. Equivalent because it says Warrior. Hero reminds me of the old Bandit. This reminds me of the Thief. That's your Wanderer. Who knows what that is? Maybe Pyromancer equivalent? That's the Confessor. I don't know. I feel like I got more options. I'm thinking, unless you have a strong opinion, Moth, I'm thinking I'm gonna go Warrior, because that seems to be a good dipping my toe in the water starting point. Also, respect to them for doing body type A or B. I mean, they didn't gender it. They could have, and they didn't. And I kind of appreciate that. I am leaning Warrior. Do you have a strong opinion otherwise, Moth? Warrior's cool looking. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm also, I see two-handed sword, and I can see what probably looks like dual wielding. I want to go sword. I don't know how parrying is in this. I use parrying a lot in my normal playthroughs. So I kind of want to, I say normal, in my Dark Souls playthroughs, I tend to be a parry boy. I like parrying. Parry repose, it's a good combo. And it looks like it'd be good for that. But I also love me the armor-clad barbarian look. Just because I do. I mean, beefy boy. Like me a beefy boy. I'm going to go warrior. Name, because this is a stream and that's my stream policy. To Daffod. Body type. Oh, I can switch. Get a little bit better. I can't. Did it just make the arms buff body or slender body? The only difference I'm noticing is arm placement. Say age. Young. Aged. Ooh. I could do cranky old man luck. Now we'll keep him young. We'll keep young. Warrior. So increases HP. I know nothing about this. So if anyone's watching and they have advice for Elden Ring, I am an experienced Dark Souls player. I know, like, genuinely nothing. I had a very brief... I played for 4 hours 4 months ago. Can't remember any of it. That's it. I've not watched a playthrough. I've not Googled anything. This is all news to me. So, backseat game away. Just understand, I might not listen to you because I kind of do my own thing. And I don't usually care to do what the best build is. I just like to have fun. But yeah, backseat away. I wouldn't mind. And the gold of grace shining in the eyes, the people of the lands between used to gain many runes. Don't know what runes are. Maximum HP always sounds good. That said to enhance flasks. Ashes of small diminutive goldens. Ashes are said to hold spirits within. Probably important. Crafting item for throwing things. I actually do remember that. That just sounds like a Pharaoh stone. Don't know what that does. Buffing item. And that's a... I'm going to go with the health amulet, just because I feel like that's my best bet. Okay. So base term, but Northerner. You know, I appreciate that they did... Okay. I remember hair discussing in this getting heated a little bit last time. kind of leaning a bit of a seafarer. I'm thinking I might go seafarer as my base appearance here. Age. Do I get to hear? Do you get to hear a sample? I don't get to hear a sample. This is useless information to me. Sure. Oh, nope. I don't want to zoom in there. Thank you. Oh. Ooh, there's a face. Hi. Ooh. Okay. Oh, there it is. That one. Sorry for the weird noises there. Young voice, alter face and hair. Bone structure. Okay. We can get something here. Kind of like that one. Form emphasis. Strong form. I don't know what this is doing, but it's probably doing something. It is so minor that I do not notice a difference. Apparent age 255. I wouldn't call that young. And again, I don't feel like this is doing anything. Facial aesthetic, masculine and feminine. Yeah, okay. It made the face more round. 10 out of 10, because that is definitely. I don't want to mess with those right now. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to spend 12 hours of the stream working about bone structure. The face structure is fine as is. Ooh, that's a pretty hairstyle. I'm kind of looking. I want to go for my hairstyle that I have, but good. Which is not the mullet with the top knot. I don't think this has been addressed. But I'm hardcore rocking like way long top hair because like the sides of my hair are short. But I haven't trimmed up the top in a while because I usually keep the top longer to style and the sides are short. But I usually wear a hat. But yeah, right now the top of my hair is very lengthy. Basically, it's this hairstyle. But yeah, if you want to be technical, this is probably more the hairstyle that all the Vikings would actually have. We're talking like Viking hairstyles. It's going to be the bowl cut type stuff. Maybe I'd go for the ponytail. I like a good ponytail. Oh, no, we're going to go with the messy. The messy with the ponytail on the back. Kind of dig that. Hair color. And we're going to absolutely not go with a normal hair color. I want to get. Oh, there we go. I don't know how to shift this outside of like slapping this button. Nope, that's not helping. I want to adjust. I want purple. There we go. I was like trying to figure out. No, okay. So there we go. And then I can select purple. Yeah, like a bluish purple. And then I can go over. Let me just get myself some like very there. No. There. Okay. Brute darkness. Can I get like a two-tone thing going on here? I forgot how to do it quickly. Oh, I can. Yeah, we're gonna go all the way. A little bit of darkness to the roots, I think looks good. And what's Lester do? Oh. Oh. That's called we put way too much oil in our hair. Doing a little bit of Lester. I think the default spot on the Lester is fine. That feels like a normal amount of sand. What's white hairs? Abundant. We can get like some frosting going on. Yeah, this is a youngin' apparently. Eyebrows. A moth lighted on your hand and then noticed there's a huge spider by your door and it had a crane fly. Aw, lucky spider. Okay, we got the no brows. No, I'm probably gonna go with. That's kind of my eyebrow type. I do usually like to try to keep them a little bit more trimmed than that, but we're gonna go with that. Facial hair. We got a bigger beard. Always do the biggest beard possible right now. Longest possible eyelashes. Eyes. Oh, I can make them. I'm not gonna give heterochromia, but it's cool that's an option. We are gonna go with that though. That is my favorite color combination ever. I don't feel like messing around with the skin. Eyeliner is actually pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna mess around with the eyeliner too much because we're not gonna see it. But there is a good, like, he's got like a little wingtip going on there. Do I want to do it? I actually really don't care for a tattoo this time. We could do an eye patch. I felt like doing an eye patch on a scar. But I don't think so for this character. I think we're gonna keep him. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? Oh, okay. It just shows you a bunch of different options. You kind of like look around to find the. Yeah, we're good. I'm good with what we have. I don't want to spend too long on character creation. Kind of want to get into the game. It's oddly zoomed in again. Yeah. I think I'm quite happy with this, so we're gonna go with this for now. I'm glad that you found a moth friend, though. Okay. Oh, is that what you sent me a picture of? It is what you sent me a picture of. It is a 10 out of 10 moth. Just like you. 10 out of 10 moth. Okay. Ba-dum-bum. Ba-da-dum-bum. This is where we're gonna start to like really run into issues if we're gonna get any.
The fallen leaves.
Oh yeah. You getting crackles?
Elden ring was shattered.
It does not like the audio of these.
In our home, across the fall, the lands between.
There's subtitles. Why is my audio crackling?
Queen Marika is nowhere to be found.
Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna try to fix that. We'll let it play.
And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad found strength, triggered the shatter.
Okay.
A war from which no lord arose.
Oh, just realized the
A
spider pick.
war
I was trying to get a peek at the inside.
to
Oh, I like
abandon
spiders.
but greater will. Rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of lost grace speaks to us all.
No, I don't like this. It's getting worse.
Oraloo, chieftain of the Badlands, ever brilliant.
It's getting worse, not better. What you doing to me?
Fear, deathbed companion, the loathsome eater, and Sir Gideon.
I missed most of that because it wanted to. It's really bad. It's really bad. And the thing is like it didn't even get through like the video. Yeah. Oh yeah, we still crinkling too. Okay. What the heck are you doing? There might be a couple different ways I can fix it, so I'm just taking a look. My audio did it too. Is it doing it now for me? Am I crackling now too, or do I sound okay? Like in this moment, am I still crackling? No, I'm not. Okay. I'm good now. Let me just making a couple audio adjustments. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is causing it, and I guess for lack of a better word, and what I can do to help. Okay. Oh, why are you turning off autonomy controller? That's annoying. Okay. So, if I'm good now, we're gonna go here. Nope, not what I'm trying to. Okay. Okay, and then here. Sorry, I'm just going. Fixing one thing at a time. Oh boy. Can you still hear me? Yes. Okay, that's still doing its thing. Okay, now this is back. There we go. That's the setting screen I wanted. That's bad. Oh, it's not gonna let me do those. Let's get those guys back there. Click over here. Nope, still crackles. Yeah, still crackling. And not running really great either, to be honest. Hmm. Okay. Checking one last thing. Maybe we'll get a game going eventually. Okay. Still crinkling. And a controller doesn't quite want to play nice. It's gonna crinkle when I hit that, yep. Why is it doing that? Why are you doing that, game? Why are you doing that? Okay. That's not helping me. Okay. So, see if we can get this open. There's one last thing I'm gonna try. Might work, we might lose audio. We'll find out. You can do it, screen. You can do it. I'm surprised my FPS aren't dropping at least. Oh, there it goes. I said something. Okay. Come on. Come on, settings. We can open. I might be having to swap this out to a different game, but I really want to not do that. Oh? Oh? Wait a minute, you hearing that? Or the lack of hearing it, I should say. You still there? Can you hear me and not crackling? You need to restart this controller though. Yeah, it's all good, except for my controller dropped. So now we're trying to get my controller back on and we're gonna see if that works. Because if it's not one thing, it's another. Okay. If we get everything stable though, we should be good for a bit, hopefully, right? That's how this works. Just spend hours trying to get this all working. I've only been streaming for an hour without actually playing the game. Okay. This is okay. Okay, controller's turned back on. Is the game picking it up? Okay. Oh, my Lanta, we might be good. Okay, let's take a second to figure out controls here, though. We got heavy, light, obviously light, and then special, which uses some of that blue bar, which apparently doesn't auto-replenish, so not too heavy on that. we have a shield, we can parry and block. Okay. Tarnished wizard's finger. Wizened finger. Not a wizard finger, but a wizened finger. Okay. Oh, I think we're good. And we're gonna launch into this. I think we're actually finally set up and running. Oh, this is a thing. Yeah, camera controls. I'm aware. I have to get used to the fact that I'm playing on a Steam controller. And Steam controllers are not great for these kinds of games. But that is all I have. Oh, else is random. But in Mafia moment here, if you'll have noticed, there hasn't been a whole bunch of plugging of my wife's Stoner Chews. That's because it was funded. Yeah, we totally got enough donations to fund it, so it was unexpected and awesome. It's actually been a good day. I also fixed my Prius today because I definitely drive a Prius. And I've been driving a Prius since before I came out to most of my family as queer. So it's been fun to make some good Prius jokes. I think it was my mom who made the comment of, I should have known you drove a Prius. My mom was an amazing woman. She was 10 out of 10 human beings. Too good for this world. Anyway. Oh. My dad has very strong opinions about the Prius, but that's because the first time I had it parked in their house and he had to move it, it took him forever to figure out how to turn it on because you have to hit your foot on the brake and push the start button to get the car to turn on. And he didn't know that. He doesn't like it because he prefers. My dad's very like give me a tractor stick shift type guy. Very farm boy, but not raised on a farm. Anyway, ooh, little shivers there. Shiver me timbers. Oh. I can't believe we got stream avatars and this working together. I was certain one or the other was going to have to go. And I didn't want to do that because I actually like running things with stream avatars. Oh, we're starting right away. Okay, the shield does nothing. This does not look like someone I can parry easy. Maybe I can. Oh, I ain't dead yet. Now I'm dead. Was I supposed to die? I have a feeling I was supposed to die. Oh, it's okay, Moth. I appreciate you swinging by as long as you did. Sorry that the whole hour you were here was spent doing troubleshooting and tech support. Right when I get the game launched. Will do. Will do. Yeah. I didn't drop dead. I went to a black loading screen. So, yeah. Definitely we're supposed to die. Anyway, good for you to swing by as much as you did, Moth. I appreciate it. You take off. I hope it's whatever you're having to do goes well for you. You know my policy. I'm always happy to see you, but only stick around while it's convenient. You got other things you want to do? That's totally fine. I don't care what it is either. You know, like if someone comes in and they're like, "I want to watch another streamer," that's fine. Go watch another streamer. I'm gonna still be here playing video games. That's what I do. Oh, Elden Ring crashed though. Apparently, Elden Ring missed you. It was like Moth's leaving. I got to give her one last technical issue before she's gone. Peace. That's my impression of what it did. I'm gonna try to launch it one last time, and if we have any issues, I'm canning it. We're gonna switch over to some plates up. Just a heads up to anyone who is still sticking around. Um, yeah, you got off centered too. Okay, this is the last attempt at Elden Ring here. If all of my fixes hold, this should be it. We'll find out if they do or not as soon as Steam realizes the game's actually been closed and lets me launch it again. I promise you it's been stopped, Steam. Okay, it has picked it up now. Last attempt at Elden Ring. If it doesn't work, we can it, and I'm swapping to PlateUp. I feel like every time it's crashed, it started up a little bit better. So hopefully we build this upon the fallen bodies of its brethren, as it were. Okay. While that loads up, I'm just going to check Discords and socials, make sure everything is doing fine. And it seems to be. Oh, that's a good sign. Anyway. Okay. Let's give. Okay, it's picked it up. Ooh, frame rate's a little bit questionable while we pick it up. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on it. See what it's doing. Can't tell if it's actually launching or if it's just trying to. Definitely going to do a lot more troubleshooting. I've been slammed beginning to end today. Part of the reason why we haven't done a lot of this troubleshooting beforehand is because it's been just a crazy day. It's fine. I didn't choose to lose project or choose to lose process, but thank you for pointing it out to me. Okay, hey, and we're online this time. Let's continue, see what happens. Hopefully my audio stays good. And we can figure out what's going on here. Through your map, you can instantly travel to any site of grace that you've discovered. However, there are some dungeons and others areas where this cannot be done. Okay. Ta-da, who is that? Birdie! How are you doing? I saw it pop up, but I didn't see who it was. It's good to see you! We've had a lot of technical difficulties this stream, by the way, so just, you've been warned. We have an adventure. But how are you doing? Hearts back to you. I'm like waiting for everything to go wrong. This is like, it's been an interesting. You've been better. Lots of stuff. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through stuff. WC streaming. I know. Day 2. 2 days in a row. It's been 4 months and we're back. We're getting some like slowly pulling up the pieces of my shattered life back together.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side.
We'll get there in the end.
We found him here, after all.
You know that feel right now? Yeah. Finally got my Prius to start turning on properly without having to jump it every time again for the first time in a couple months today.
One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden
So victories.
Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
That poor car. That car is... It's an adventure. We've decided... So, like, the crux of most of its issues is that it has a hybrid battery that is held together 90% by just sheer force of will. So we have decided to replace the hybrid battery, but that's going to cost like 15 grand, or not 15 grand, 1,500. So we're going to have to save up for it. Probably take us quite a while, but save up for it, get a new battery in that thing. And then that should give it another good 5-10 years with minimal issues. Ooh, Flask of Crimson Tears. Oh, that's the jump button. Cerulean Tears. I'm assuming that that's health and magic. The Cave of Knowledge lies below. I have a feeling that's a trap. Anyway. Have you seen any Elden Ring before? Oh, okay. The Cave of Knowledge does actually lie below. First off, good luck. Thank you. You've seen some streamed? Yeah? Okay. I have... Like, I think you know this about me. I am a massive Dark Souls fan. I have been for the longest time. Yeah, behold tree. Thank you. That is... Which one of these is good? I don't know which one's good. No. Good. Yes. Not a fan of the game type like Dark Souls, but I'm here for you. I appreciate it. Again, I'm a huge fan of the game types. I like the challenge, I like the difficulty. I've been excited for this game for, like, ever since it was announced. Finally got it for my birthday. Didn't play it because I was going to stream it. 4 months ago, streamed it. and then just ran out of time, so I haven't played it again. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna do a fresh start because I no vision. Why are you making me go into darkness with no vision? There's a cave wall. Am I going to sit here and carefully press the lock-on button because I don't trust this game? Absolutely. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I like the challenge. Praise the skeleton. I have opinions. My opinions get me in trouble for Dark Souls, the Dark Souls games. I love Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. They're my favorite game series of all time. Dark Souls 2 is my favorite. I haven't really put in enough attention to give Dark Souls 3 its proper assessment, though. Just because my computer at the time when that was trending couldn't handle it. But Dark Souls 2 I absolutely adore. I love Dark Souls 1. But a lot of people hold Dark Souls 1 to be like the pinnacle of what a good Dark Souls game is. You know, as people always do, the first is the best and everything else they think is terrible. But I think part of what makes Dark Souls 1 so difficult is not good game design, but rather bad game design. Or not bad game design. It's not as polished, which is where some of the difficulty comes from, and a lot of people get mad at me when I say that. You got anything to say? Just brave tarnish, take the plunge of learning and remembrance. Recall the arts of war in your warrior's blood. That's ominous. Okay, bye. Okay. You failed? I'm sorry. Sorry that person's failed. Anyway, I'm assuming this is heal. Yeah, that's the same as like other Dark Souls games. What games have you been playing lately? I think I told you I finally picked up RimWorld. RimWorld? I cannot say that. Oh, they've made bonfires even harder too. I remember this. Yeah. I have yet to mod it, which is apparently the biggest thing that you're supposed to do. But yeah. I am actually aware of Clan Folk. I have that game as well. Um I picked it up and I just there's like thousands of good mushrooms. Yeah. I picked up Clan Folk. I it was a gift first off. And I haven't vibed with it yet. I think it's going to be an enjoyable game. It's just I haven't been in the mood for that kind of game. Because one, I don't have time. So like when it comes to games, like I gotta really like pick my games conservatively, as it were. What games I have time for. But yeah, I got a different game called PlateUp, and PlateUp has been almost all of my what little time I do have to video games. That was probably excessive. Guarding. I know how to guard. You watch a streamer who played PlateUp? I could never follow it on stream. It is a I love PlateUp so much. It is a kind of a hectic game though. Like I love it. I know how to dodge, thank you. I might play some more of it on the stream later. See if you guys are able. you have one slow wind up there. Okay, we gotta practice. I want to power you. We are powering, but it's got a very slow one. I'm gonna have to get used to the pacing of this game. Um, I love it. I love the chaos. I love that you can kind of like automate your kitchen and cooking. Like I liked Overcooked, and it just reminds me of like Overcooked, but just a little bit more hectic in kind of a good way. And I love being able to organize it and build my restaurant how I want to. Oh, hi. You just gonna sit up there and snipety snipe? Oh, these are pretty. Roa fruit. I don't know what they do, but they look pretty. And they're shiny. And I don't think I need anything else. I don't need to know anything else just yet. Challenge. Yep, I know. I knew that. Let's see. So if you're not familiar with a dark, you said you've watched it a little bit. Parrying is one of those skills that you either get like good at and people know how to do. Like it seems harder than it is. You just have to figure out the timing. Is there not kicking in here? There doesn't seem to be kicking in here. Yep, I was just making sure. Yep, it's not kicking. You got really good rotation. Anyway, Brady does not parry. Parry. The trick with parrying is you got to do it usually right before they hit you. You can move really good. Okay. Yeah, I usually rely heavily on the parry backstab method of this game. Not necessarily the best at it, but that's usually my go-to method. This game is running so smoothly compared to like literally not so long ago. Like it's like a few minutes ago I was having like the worst time getting this to go. Yeah, I know. See, these are the ones that always trick me up though. It's the ones that have like the really slow wind up. These are really guys that I wouldn't normally parry. I'm just trying to practice. And these guys, you wouldn't parry these guys. They're meant to be slow moving, but that wind up throws me off. Because I'm used to enemies that I need to like parry quickly. Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't. It was just like the audio was glitchy, and then lags were bad, and frames were dropping. But yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. It still has like some concerns a little bit here, but we're doing pretty good outside of that. I haven't heard any popping of the audio. It looks like, well, no, that's a, oh, what's happening? Oh, there's a crossbow. I was like, stream avatars might have been acting up, but it actually looks like it's doing a little bit better on stream than it was, like, from what I'm seeing. I monitor, basically I have, obviously, my stream monitoring, and then I also use my phone as a monitor, so I can kind of keep an eye on what the stream's doing. At a bit of a delay, but... Oh, it's you. Oh, see, this is the kind of guy that you can parry. He he actually has a quicker windup. Like, you can parry the other ones, but the slow windup throws me. Just because I'm like, oh, they're gonna swing now, they're gonna swing now, and then I parry too early. I know. I know about skills, thank you. I actually do appreciate the skills, though. See, like that, like, I think he's gonna swing so much earlier than he does. I think it's gonna be like that second one right there with the parry, but I'll figure it out. These guys are meant to be kind of easy to practice on and everything. Like, I'm not too concerned. I'm taking it slow. I'm just trying to get a feel for the game. Stealth? There's stealth? Okay, I'm sold. Thank you. Comment messages. I mean, dodging is valid. Dodging is a valid form of playing. Sneaky Archer mode activate. Yeah. Oh. Near a back-turned enemy critical. Yeah. Backstabbing. I know that. We going to... It's a sneaky snake. It's a sneaky snake. I won't pick up art. I don't know. Actually, maybe archery in here would be worth it. Archery in Dark Souls never seemed worth it to me. Like, it just doesn't hold up. Damage-wise, if that makes sense. It's just you. Oh, okay. Oop, wrong button. We can do that if it wants me to. Yeah, break six. You can. Oh, that's powerful to know. Okay. See if it doesn't have a good skill tree defined. I don't honestly know in this game. I don't know if this game has a skill tree. Dark Souls doesn't have a skill tree. Yeah, Dark Souls doesn't have a skill tree. It's kind of... The thing about Dark Souls, and I think actually part of the reason why I like Dark Souls, my controller went a little funny there for a second, is that you really can... You really can play however you want. If that makes sense. Like, there isn't... There's not a right or a wrong way to play Dark Souls. It's not like Skyrim. It's not like where stealthy archery is ridiculously overpowered. It's like you can make anything work in that game. Is that it? Or were you okay. My Dark Souls skills have paid off. It was like, oh, he's got a boss health bar, and then a single Ripose did most of that health bar gone. I mean, it was easy. I get a feeling it was designed to be easy. It's definitely one of those figures that was... Dark Souls softens a little bit as the game series has gone on. It never holds your hand, but it gives you, like, I've noticed in the later games, they try to give you breathing room a little bit to learn how to play the game. Like, you can kind of dip your toes in a little bit. I'm so glad the jump goes straight up. I got strength. I don't know what that does, but yeah. No, that's the thing in Dark Souls. Like, that's the thing. Like, in Dark Souls, if you want to make a whip your weapon. Like, the whips weren't great necessarily, but if you wanted to make it work, you could make it work. They're a game where it's defined more by skill and practice than it is anything else. So there is an item up there. I didn't see a way to get to it. And I'm not gonna go through the whole thing again. I think that was my tutorial, so I'm feeling ready for the world. Dramatic door push. Go fight them all. Gotta go fight them all. It doesn't like this new area. My Steam controller's trying to be a little bit stubborn. I think we're okay. Yeah, we'll rest. Okay, that'll refill our Estus flasks. Oh, do I get a cutscene? Okay, I thought I was gonna get a cutscene for a second there. Yeah, I don't have any spells because I don't have any staffs. Use Stripe messages to other worlds. Awesome. Crafting materials. Row of fruit. My scimitars. And a shield and my armor, I think is all I have. Oh, abouts. That's useful. That there'd be a decoy. Is this a thing? I don't know. Gold summon sign. And a finger severer. Okay. Okay, I know. Looks like they really improved some of those, it seems. Okay. Yes. If I had one. Okay. I love that they have a little animation of your character being like, yeah, I'm just gonna pull this right out of my pocket. Oh, wait, nope, never mind. Yeah. Ooh, this looks fun. But it's not giving me an interaction option, probably to call it down if it's not already here, I'm guessing. There's a message over here. Hidden path ahead. What? Let me guess. It's probably not true. I don't know, maybe it is. People love to find walls and be like, hidden path ahead, and then just waste your time. I don't personally get it, because like you don't even get to see me try to figure out if there's a wall there, but I don't know, they do them. Praise the good luck. Rump. Oh my goodness. I've been kicked out because my frame rate dropped. Thank you, game. No, there, someone had written a message in front of the door that said rump. There we go. There's the good old issues we were having earlier. It's not weird at all. Yeah, people have adventures here. Oh boy. Hmm. Well, it's really good to see you, Birdie. I've missed you. I've missed chatting to you. I mean, I know I've seen the occasional Discord message, but like I've been vanished and disappeared to a lot of the world. Like, the amount of people I haven't talked to. I know we talked about this a little bit. This isn't entirely a secret, but I'll just kind of say like in Jarek, I think you're kind of aware of this. Things happened in my life, um, and kind of just immediately a lot of my extended family has kind of bailed and kind of like left us stranded here, and it's just been kind of crazy to sort things out. So, like my immediate family's pretty good, like parents and such, but just yeah. It's okay. He's doing good. I mean, my father, who's never going to watch. That's where do I start with him? I love my dad dearly. He is the epitome of he doesn't do the best at taking care of himself, which that's rich coming from me because I got it from him, but I got it from him, and like he's doing pretty good. We're still me and my dad are good. Like we talk, and there's a lot of things. He's very much still in the 80s in some ways, and trying to like I don't know. I love my dad. Um, I have a better relationship with my dad than a lot of people. We'll put it that way. He's yeah, he's a good guy. We don't always look at things the same way. Oftentimes we don't, but he's a good guy. And I don't want to like lambast him on stream. He's always supportive and he always does his best, even when he doesn't understand. So, yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing is I think most of it is like my dad really needs a better job. Um, like kind of unrelated to everything else. Like he needs a better job because his current job treats him terribly.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we?
Yeah.
Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring?
Yeah,
Hmm?
absolutely, Birdie.
Of course
Absolutely.
you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
I'm maidenless.
Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless.
Such a weird way to put
Vare.
it.
Take care to listen. Are you familiar with
Yeah.
grace? The golden light that gives life to you, tarnished. You may also behold its golden
I haven't-
rays,
Yeah, I
pointing
haven't
in a
seen
particular
family
direction
physically
at
since
times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a tarnished
It's been a year.
must travel.
It's been a year.
Indeed. Grace's guidance
When I went out for my mom's
holds the
funeral.
answers.
That
It
was the
will
last
lead
time
you
I saw any
tarnished
family
to the
in
path
person.
you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave.
Because we haven't been back out to Utah and none of them have come out this way. So there's that. But yeah, as much as you love family, they're tiring having
Grace's
over.
guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly. To Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted.
You were on the same coast as me for 3 hours? And you didn't say hi? Layover?
It's time you set off, I should think.
Or...
Castle Stormvale on the cliff.
I'm actually curious where
where
to, because I'm
Grace
going to
would
assume
guide you.
probably
If
more
you
akin to
seek
New
the
York.
Elden Ring, maidenless as you are.
Yeah. Layover in
It's time you
JFK.
set off,
I
should
had a
think.
feeling I'm like 3 hours
Castle
layover. You probably would have been at
Stormvale on the
JFK
cliff,
International.
where Grace
It was
would
unlikely you were
guide
up here in Logan.
If you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you
If you had a
are.
layover at Logan Airport, I would have been like, I would have tried to like come have donkeys with you or something.
It's time you set off to Castle. If you seek the
Yeah. Okay. He's given me his advice. I was listening to it. Sorry if I talked over that to anyone who was trying to listen to it. It didn't seem like anyone was, but... So we'll test this. I love the trees. Verbal JFK isn't the worst airport, but it was very crowded. That's what I usually hear about JFK. It's crowded and busy. Back when I worked for Hell, I mean, my old transportation company, they would have their what's it called? We would sometimes send drivers down to JFK, and it was always a nightmare. It's like we were right next to Logan. Like I know Logan Airport more than I care to be entirely honest. But oh no. Oh, I hope they didn't hurt your Norway trip too much. On your way to, you think you got it on your way to? Did you get symptoms when you were there? Or like we all know, I'm like the COVID expert. I've had COVID 4 times and counting now, so. And that's like to say, because I've had it 4 times. I've also been vaccinated, been boosted, worn a mask, social distance, the works. I'm just me. And I've pissed off some ancient god of luck back in the day, and they've never forgiven me. Kind of blew up your trip because I also got my friends in Norway sick. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. Especially because you were looking up to that trip so much. I can't summon anyone here because it has decided they don't have any frame rate. Probably back to like 90%. That's good to hear. Being back to 90% is at least something. What's over here? This is the problem with open worlds, is they just like take off and get distracted by every shiny thing. Bring it, bats. Ooh, yeah, my frames are not happy. Finishing my flasks. I might be I think I'm gonna call it quits on Elden Ring for now. I'm still getting lag. Yet a family member passed away very suddenly, and yesterday was the funeral, so it's been very taxing this week. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh. gonna give Elden Ring a break because it's struggling a little bit, and I want to figure out what's going on first. Man, I'm sorry to hear that you've had a family member pass away suddenly. That's never fun. Show you the joy of PlateUp. Absolutely. First thing we're doing is we're learning our lesson from yesterday. So stream avatars is going away. Because as cool as stream avatars is, it does not play nice with PlateUp. At least there's Twitch integration with PlateUp, which I really enjoy. Um, but if I have both Twitch integration and that going, they don't play nice together. So we're gonna launch PlateUp here. I'm just making a brief announcement. And what are you doing? My controller's having issues. Okay. I'm just making a quick little update. Okay. I agree to an extent. Um, Keyboard and mouse tends to play nicer. That's true, but it really depends on the game. I wouldn't dream of playing Elden Ring or Dark Souls with a keyboard and mouse. Um, PlateUp I could play with a keyboard or mouse, but I really enjoy. I prefer to play PlateUp with a controller as well, just because it makes if I'm doing multiplayer, it makes multiplayer easier, as well as it's just if I got 5 minutes to sit down and play a game, if my controller's playing nice, it's just easier for me to have a controller. But I have this Steam controller, which I actually really like the Steam controller because it can kind of hybridize a little bit as a mouse if I need it to. But at the same time, it's also starting to get a little bit old, and Steam controllers are not. It's starting to get a couple little quirks in it, I've noticed. So yeah, I will probably look at replacing it down the road, probably with another Steam controller if they still make them. I'm assuming with the releasing of the Steam Decks, they do. PlateUp is launching, by the way. So yeah, it is launching and turning on. But oh shoot, I gotta make some updates. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Oh, boop. Now you can listen to the music while I wait for my screen to pick up that it's playing. Okay, let's see if Streamlabs is gonna work. Now, should be able to, if I close this and then open it back up, it should say the proper thing. Or not. not what I want to do. Did you see the game title and everything update or no? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm doing my backup plan too. Yeah, it's updated. Okay. Beans and toast. Okay. Nope, not what I'm trying to do. So that back in there. And because this decided it doesn't want to. Yay! That's actually worked. Okay. Beans and toast. Yeah, that's what we're planning on doing. We're gonna have beans and toast. As long as OpenChef doesn't break everything. It was having some struggles yesterday, but we'll see. Ooh, it might be breaking everything. Oh. Okay. I think we're okay. No. Basically, if if everything goes well, I think we're good. You should basically be able to type !visit, and you get to visit the restaurant, and a character will show up with your name above it, and then you can further actually order a meal from one of the options that my restaurant has. Kind of makes it's a fun little thing. We'll test it out. All I know is my frame rate hasn't absolutely tanked, so we're doing much better than it was doing yesterday for a while. We're gonna pick up from a previous save, so because we were doing this yesterday. Oh, restaurant. That's working. So you can type /visit, and you'll be able to visit the restaurant. Oh, I forgot this restaurant. This restaurant is very crowded. Oh, how do I want to do this? Do I want to buy any of these? Yeah. I can't see the queue, but in theory, you should be in the queue now. Okay. How do? This is gonna get moved out here. afford to do both, unfortunately, but we do need the grabber. That should grab potatoes, which will put them to here, which will automatically make it to potatoes. That's what we need to do. And then this guy is gonna have to go. Okay, it doesn't block customers at least. That's good. I'm gonna grab the ceiling light. It doesn't really matter if you have a ceiling light or not. Palm painting would be bad. Yep, this is gonna be half what we go with here. Okay. Do I want to? I'm going to. Put my soups there. There's a cutting spot for my apples. I can make cheese boards, pot, soup, onion, stove. Yeah, that works. That works great. So we have the meat up here. Do I? Do I do this? So I can grab the meat for the meat stew. It's gonna make the pots a little bit tricky to grab, but I don't think there's gonna be a good way to do that. They're still grabbable there at least. Okay, we're gonna try. We're gonna try it. The goal is to make it to day 15. So I don't know how much you're familiar with PlateUp, but the goal is to make it to day 15. We are currently on day 11. Once you make it to day 15, you can do what's called a franchise, which basically means past day 11, if your restaurant fails, you can start up the restaurant again with similar cards and usually a really nice bonus. This has actually already been franchised once before. So this is a tier 1 restaurant. In other words, it's had a franchise before. It's the cafe. It's adorable, and it's super hard to automate anything in it, because you don't got space to, if you can't tell. But we're gonna give it a go. I only have 6 customers coming today because I have so many food items going on. So hopefully we can afford to feed them all. Okay, potatoes seem to be working. Grab water, grab onion, put it on the stove. Grab water, grab onion, put it on the stove. Grab the beans, move it. Let's make a loaf of bread. Carrot soup, meat soup. And it's Birdie! You did here! You are Zibada! See what you want. We got meat soup, we got that going. We have a potato station. You want carrot soup. So, for your order, you can type order 1. It will switch around every day, but order 1 is beans and toast. Order 2 is just plain toast. I'll let you type it in chat first, just to give it a chance to go through. If you want, because once I take your order, you can't change it. You can't order your appetizers, and you can't order desserts. That's random still. I do believe the dev is probably working on fixing that. The dev on this game is awesome, but yeah. Yes, it is exclamation mark, or it is literally kind of what it says on screen. So exclamation mark order 1. It will do it. Or exclamation mark order 2 type deal. You want a copy? Boom. Yep, so yeah, order 1. That should mean that you ordered beans and toast. Yep. Didn't even see those pop-ups for the order. It's okay. I spent, I think, like an hour yesterday not seeing the pop-ups myself. and being like, there's supposed to be some way that you can like pick your order, but I don't know what you're supposed to do. And they were just like meandering around. You want a cheese board? We have a very fancy cheese board. It's apples, peanuts, and cheese. That's it. That's the cheese board. It makes me smile so much because it's just so absolutely random. There's your beans toast. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. There you go. Doesn't it? Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I know it's like a very untraditional cheese board, but apples, peanuts, and cheese doesn't sound bad. Like, I can kind of get the vibe. It's also one of the best apple dishes to have to deal with because the other apple dishes are just absolute the worst things in the world. Of course, they're gonna order the one soup I don't have ready. These are my last 2 customers of the day too, so nailing it. Doing automated French fries and then no one actually orders the French fries. Toast going. Ideally, I'll get toast automated too, but I genuinely don't think there's room in this kitchen to automate toast. You want one with beans, one without. Easy enough because I'm out of beans. Oh, and that's it. Yep, so that's the day. Breakfast is like one of my favorite things to do. Just because it's such... So this game is made by an English developer. The developer's name is Alistair. If you watch any of the Yogscast streams for this, he actually has... No, don't want to start the day. He actually shows up in quite a few of them. Do I try to fit a coffee table in here? The answer is it's absolutely not going to fit. Okay. We'll throw in a hob to get a hob researched. There's nowhere I could fit a coffee table. Basically, my only hope is if I can make it to day 15. So we've got order 1 and order 2. You will always be my first customer of the day, because right now you're the only person on the stream. So you'll always be my first customer. If we get more people, they can always join in too. But yeah. You don't need... Yeah, so you only need to type visit once per restaurant, if that wasn't already said. Technically, that would change if I actually had more customers, because then it just goes through the queue. But I don't. Carrot soup again. You're a fan of the carrot soup, it seems. Beans and toast. Just gotta cook the bread. Always forget to do that. We'll chop an apple while we wait. It's ready to go. Which one do you want? Oh, the meat soup. Have bread. If I can get at least a portioner. I think a portioner is about as automated as I'm going to be able to get. Oh, apparently you also want French fries. I forgot that was a thing. You always want French fries. And a cheese board. You want so much today. Both of you want cheese boards. It's okay. Here's your cheese board. Let's grab this other person their cheese board. You guys know what you want yet? Well, ooh, we got a double order for meat soup. One with beans, but both with beans, one with French fries. Doable. Grab the beans, grab the French fries. One meat soup, one carrot soup. find some variety up here. See, because this is a franchise, I think I mentioned this, like every franchises have special things. So this franchise's special thing is that every customer gives me an extra 2 gold. So in theory, I have a little bit more money to work with. That is, however, in theory, not necessarily practice. And with this restaurant, it doesn't really matter either way because I have no room, and that's actually the bigger limiting factor than whether or not I have space. It's whether or not I have room to do anything. Need more beans. See, I love this game. It's just such like a simple little game. You know what I mean? Just like, I can just vibe to it. I can kind of just go about doing what I'm doing, just, you know? Like a good simple game. Like, this is genuine. Like, I was talking to people. This is probably, like, my game of the year. If I were to say, what is the game that I've most enjoyed playing this year, it's this game. It's like, it's cute, just a little bit of cute, it's a little bit of a challenge. It's very repeatable. I don't mind when both people order cheese boards. Like, that's fine, because that means they only have to make 1 cheese board. Because they're a shared item. I hate when I get, like, a cheese board and a coffee, though, because it defeats the purpose of the cheese board. Don't know. Actually, oh, this is the last of my customers, so... There we go. That's all my customers for the day here. We can play around with the board now. It's like, it's got this, it hits the intersection between derpy and cute. I'm Steam stalking you, you got 114 hours in this game. I do, which is a concerning amount, but I will also say my hours are a little bit artificial, because I tend to launch, this is like a personal thing, I tend to launch games, and then like I'll go to work, or I'll go be taking care of my kids, and the game will just run on my computer for hours without me actually playing it. That's really the case with like this game, and you'll also see that with like any of the Civilization games. If you notice my hours in the Civilization games, it's similar there. They're artificially inflated. Yeah. But I have played the heck out of this game. I absolutely adore it. I took a tower nap. Yeah, exactly. Take your nap and that's what everything goes. Oh, I don't want to earn less money, but I don't even think I have room for tomatoes and mushrooms. I do have room for tomatoes and mushrooms. But that might be the end of me. We're gonna try it. Oh, hydrate. Thank you. And a posture check. You are the first person to redeem points reward since I've started streaming. I had Moth in here quite a bit earlier, but Moth is saving them. So they didn't actually redeem any of them yet. I'm gonna put mushrooms here. I'm gonna put tomatoes at the top. I'm actually gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna have to cut tomatoes. Oh. These are getting swapped. Because I have one cutting board space basically that's usable, and it's that one there. This is gonna be crowded. Ooh, it is a danger hob. Oh, that's really tempting. I'll be able to really cook toast quickly. We'll think about it. Sharp knife could be good. Do I have a place that I can put a sharp knife? Danger, yeah, oh yeah. So these right here are danger hobs. They cook twice as fast, but they burn 4 times as fast. So for soups, they're amazing because soups don't burn. But I'm debating about swapping out this for a danger hob, Because it'll cook my toast twice as fast, but then I really can't leave the toast unattended. So that could be a great thing, it could be a terrible thing. The sharp knife is always a good bet, but I don't think I have a place I can put it. It's basically anywhere. I'm going to try to find a spot for it. Yeah, that blocks everything. I might not be able to use it, unfortunately. I just don't have space. Oh. I can, however, do a tray stand. No, I can't. I don't have space for it. I don't have a spare counter. You know what? This is a risky as hell play, but I would rather have a knife than a trash can. If I burn anything, I'm screwed though. So let's not do that. I'm gonna re-roll to see if I get anything good. Flower pot would be great, but I don't have room for it. I'm particularly looking for a safety hob. Heated mixer. Nope. These things are terrible. Don't burn anything. Yeah, if I burn anything, game over. Boom, done. Like, immediately. Do I upgrade the mop? I don't upgrade the mop. We're gonna go risky. This is either going to be our saving grace or the end of us. Now I get to run everywhere with a kitchen knife, so it's kind of worth it. Onions. Get that going. I need to do something. Beans! Beans! Oh, I could have put the danger hob there, and it wouldn't have burnt it. Oh well, too late. Because then oh, that would have been perfect, but I forgot. Anyway, time for you to make your order. You can now order 1, 2, or 3 are your options. Toast with a slice of tomato. I can get that prepped. It's like such a healthy option. Oh, apparently no cheese board for you today, though. Cheese boarded out. What do you want? What can I get for you? You want the full kit and caboodle there. Trying that tomato. Yeah, it's super filling tomato. Not for this guy though. He wants tomato, mushroom, and beans. Greedy much? There you go. You can also get fried egg, and then that's like the full setup. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get fried egg. Fried egg would have been more of a game ender, I think, than these two. These two are actually fairly still doable. It's a lot of running back and forth, but it's not an impossible thing. I wish I would have gotten the danger hub though. That would have been perfect for the beans. Too fully loaded though. That might kill me. Nope, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. Okay, we're okay. I can go in there. When in doubt, stick the toast in the sink. Best policy. Tomato for you. There's gonna be another tomato, but that's that for you. If I also accidentally make tomato soup, it's game over. Because I have 0. Oh, I can shove exactly. I can make like exactly one mistake because I can shove it in the oven. Beans. think I have put toast in the sink before. I won't tell the other patrons, though. You know, we don't need to talk about where the toast... Like, I need counter space. Sinks was available. I could burn 2 things, because I could shove it in the other sink, because I don't use the other sink. Okay, we have options. That's the other thing, too. You've probably noticed, like, I could put these plates in front of them at any time, but they want their food... Once you put one plate in front of them, they kind of expect the other plate to be there soon, that people can eat together. And it's a very short timer. It's shorter than, like, just having them wait. So... Oh, that was a mistake. So you can kind of see that timer ticking down really quickly. I got a sharp knife, though, so we can make that lickety split. Yeah. Don't put food down if you don't want them to want it quickly. Okay. There are ways to, like, there are specific things that, like, significant... We'll put another hop. Actually, we'll do some reach this time. There are some things that, like, significantly slow that down, where it's a moot point. It's a frozen prep station. Oh, is that useful? If I was automating toast, this would be amazing. But I'm not automating toast because I don't have the room to automate toast. Would it be more useful to automate apples and just have apples ready to go for rapid cheese boards? Or is it... No, it's more useful to have French fries, I think. I think French fries are the more useful one. Oh, we'll research this. Get ourselves a... I cannot tell. A something, though. Onion. Onion in the pot. Make the onion in the pot to make the stock and get a pot full of beans. Pot full of beans. With carrot soup. Carrot soup to enjoy while I get some bread going. So it looks like it just gives you 3 options to pick from when you have orders. And they're a little different every day. You gonna order today? Or can I see what the RNG picks for you? Order 1 doesn't have mushrooms. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there we go. What do you... Ooh, you guys won. I also will say I actually am very much a mushroom fan, personally. I actually do like mushrooms. I know that can be a controversial opinion. What do you want? You want a cheese board? I accidentally dropped my knife on the table. I'm starting to panic. I need to, like, breathe. Okay. We need mushrooms. No, not cheese boards. We need mushroom. The other one's just toast and fries. Toast, mushroom, and fries. Okay, there's one order. Let's get this next one going. Let's see what these people want. Okay, I can manage that. These people are just going to want mushrooms and beans. I think we got it. Oh, that's what I was worried about. If one of those timers run out, game over. That's the immediate game over. Of course, you're gonna win one of each. The worst thing you could have ordered. Okay. Oh, so I had the traditional stew in Norway that is usually made with reindeer and mushrooms, and my poor friends had to cook with the mushrooms on the side. I ate one mushroom slice, 2 pieces, and ordered cods. I am a huge mushroom fan, and maybe it's just like my Polish ancestry, but like I love me a good mushroom dish. Okay. I'm gonna have mushrooms on everything. Like if I'm making spaghetti sauce, I want to put some good mushrooms in there. I made a really good bolognese sauce the other day and it had mushrooms in it. I really love. Or like, we always call it Polish chicken because it's based off a recipe that we have in a semi-family cookbook. But it's basically, just like, if you ever had cream of chicken over rice, it's that dish, but, yeah, but we do mushrooms in it too. That's what I was getting at. No, in there. And the thing. Here you go. Eat your food. Oh, actually done. Okay. Yeah, so it's one of my good dishes to make. I usually season mine well, though. My Polish ancestors probably think I eat like a king. Okay, safety hob is actually great because this is going to help the toast situation be easier. And we can just throw that on there for the beans because I don't need the bean that way. Just the beans just cook on there. Okay, is what I should have done when I had the danger hob, but it's fine. Do I want to try to get a danger hob? Not really. I mean, we're kind of having to go trash canless, but yeah. Okay. This is day 15. If we do day 15, will be great because then even if we fail, I can continue this restaurant as a franchise in hopefully an area that has some ability to automate. Hello, birdie. Welcome to the restaurant. Oh, I need my knife. This would have been like a absolutely fine restaurant if I had if I didn't get so many different things. I have carrot soup, meat soup, beans. Like I have too many things for this restaurant and what this restaurant is. That safety hob is doing the Lord's work. Let me tell you what. Oh, sorry, I took your order actually before you had a chance to order. I was in game mode. I forgot. I'm just gonna quickly give you this plate before you notice there's mushrooms on it, and pretend like nothing happened. Here, you can have a coffee. How about that? You like coffee, don't you? Black coffee because they don't have any option to have sweetened in here. You can have this discussion. I don't like the taste of coffee, but I'm almost certain that if I ever were to drink it, I'd probably have to drink it like I drink my tea, which is with like basically milk, except not actual milk because I'm lactose intolerant. So my almond or oat milk, whatever I have on hand. I cannot see. Okay, there's tomatoes on that one. It's like behind the money. I don't know why I'm worried. I guess I can just let it cook this time. I forgot. Okay, tomato. Boom. Mushroom. French fry. And a mushroom. The worst is like the burgers can be so hard to see sometimes, and you got to figure out what like toppings the burger has on it, and it's like, oh, that one can be just an absolute pain. Also, double coffee orders because you can only have one coffee prepped at a time. Those are always fun. Gotta run around the restaurant quickly. Get everything. Soup. Carrot soup. That's easy. They're also my last customers, but I'm still gonna do this just because I can. Ooh, double French fries. And that is a tomato and beans up top. So we go tomatoes, beans, and French fry. It's one of the other ones, mushrooms, beans, and French fries. Oh, that hob is such a lifesaver, because then I can actually cut while I cook. There we go. You can play the knife dance. Okay. Okay, last order of the day. Coffee and a cheese board. Easy enough to do. And that'll be day 15 done, so I can do this as a franchise. And keep the breakfast streams a-flowing. Woo! Knife dance. Put this away, might as well. Okay. I am not going to just immediately end this. I am going to see how far I can go. Because that's fun. Start with a wash basin, or oh, golf claps, yeah. Okay. I have formal as a setting, which means ideally I don't have any mess that I really have to worry about for this kind of meals. So I don't think floor protectors are worth it compared to starting with a wash basin, which is phenomenal, and I would kill for a wash basin in this run, so I'm gonna go with that. The wash basin lets you wash 4 dishes at once, is what that really comes down to. We'll get that in here. Be nice. Okay, we got calm painting. What I need is a ceiling light. Because the ceiling light increases decorations without taking up any room. Can I get another ceiling light to stash for later? I can. And that is what we will do. Because that will get me up to 6 on the decorations on the side. Oh, okay, of course. Hopefully you get ready for bed. Oh yeah, because it's I don't have a clock available on me immediately. It's almost midnight there. Okay. Right. You know, I think I'm just gonna do just a PlateUp stream tomorrow. Just because, like, the other games have been acting up. PlateUp just plays so nice compared to the other ones. And I really enjoy it. Okay. So, let's start overtime day 1 in our super crowded kitchen. 12 customers. Is it possible? You're still listening, though? I had a feeling you might be. Ooh, you brought a friend today. 12 customers is interesting because this is going to be the first day I have to bake a second loaf of bread. And that genuinely might be what does us in. Like, as silly as that sounds, but having to bake a second loaf of bread might genuinely be what does us in. We'll find out. Yeah. You get 10 slices in a bread. Meat soup? Hello, what do you want? You guys, it's just plain toast. Apparently, without you ordering anything, plain toast is what you went with. But you guys, plain toast and a full loaded. I can get that prepped. I can actually start prepping that, yeah. Yep, this is already getting crowded. Maybe you have a tummy ache and you think this is where it's at. Absolutely valid. Nothing is better for a tummy ache than just some good old plain toast sometimes. Okay. There's their meat soup. We're surviving, but this is tight. Okay. See a tomato. We need a mushroom as well. Unless these people decide to clear out, I think this is gonna be it. Because I don't think I can get through a dinner course or a dessert course as well with these two in a way that works. Yep, that's it. Game is coming because I'm going to serve this. I'll grab it up as quick as I can, but yep, didn't eat fast enough. I had a feeling. It was like, that's just 12 people. When I have 2 tables at once, there's no way. But I beat day 15. That was the real goal. Okay. Ooh, a power sink. I'm not going to be using that immediately because this next franchise I don't get us a wash basin. But what do I want to do? What do I don't want to do? Absolutely screwing the cheese board. I hate cheese boards. Cheese boards are fine unless you have another dessert. Like the moment you have ice cream or black coffee, the cheese board becomes a game killer for me because then you lose the advantage of the cheese board, which is that one cheese board serves 3 people, because suddenly not everyone just gets a cheese board and it just becomes more of a hindrance than a help. I mean, I think it's supposed to be a hindrance, but yeah. Chips are easily automatable. Meat soup, it's a soup. Get 2 hobs, that's not too bad to deal with. Yeah. Let's see if we have a good restaurant to do some automation. Automation is not doing a diner again. That's a killer run to have to worry about. I want a bigger map. This one could work. Huh? Well, this is the menu. Less like this is just the menu area. You know what? I'm gonna do the official unofficial reset because I don't like any of those maps. You come into the tutorial and then you leave the tutorial and it refreshes all of the seeds. So it can be useful to try to cycle through if you're looking to get a specific food item, because you don't have. I have a few food items available, but you don't have all of the options. So for example, I have salad, pizza, burgers, and hot dogs. As you saw, breakfast is also an option. Steak is also an option that I have access to. I think those are the 6 that I have access to. There's another one called stir fry I don't have access to. Oh, there's fish. Fish of the day. So you have 4 of the 8 at most that kind of cycle through, and the maps are randomly generated as well. I don't think any of these maps are great. This map's not bad, but I think I'm going to stick it with the daily. That actually doesn't look like a bad map, and none of those immediately call interesting. It's seeded, and that's the other thing too. This is just like Minecraft. All these maps have seeds, so you can see that's the seed for this map. I don't think this one's show the seeds on them, but yeah. So if you wanted to like seed fix by layout, you can input seeds right there and kind of get custom maps that way. If you find like a really good map, that's what you can do. So I'm activating my franchise, which is I only have the one at the moment, so it'll immediately be this one. But then we can kind of see here, we got breakfast, because that was the initial thing, and formal. Carrot soup I picked, mandatory tips, which is 2 bonus for each. Beans, coffee, chips, the wash basin is amazing, and tomatoes and mushrooms, and the meat soup. So that's going to be great. This is where you have items to bring. I don't care for the power sink, which is blasphemy to a lot of people. And I really don't care for the gas limiter. This basically turns the gas limiter turns a safety hob. Oh, I can't do it that way. Okay. I probably need a 3rd box. The gas limiter like turns any hob into like a safety hob, basically. So like if you have the danger hob, it can be a great way to keep the danger hob from getting out of hand. But live fast, die young. That's what I say. All right, let's get this restaurant set up with all of my boxes. This is so nice compared to what we had. Got like space for days. Hello? Bug report? Stuck. Okay. Um. One second. I'm gonna have to relaunch it because it got stuck. That's fun. Because I could abandon it, but if I abandon it, then I lose the franchise. That counts as failure. And I don't want to fail it out immediately. So we relaunch. I'm write a little bug tip about it later. Because I'm definitely on the PlateUp forums. I'm addicted to this game. I love it so much. It's just a fun little game. I want to get Pip to play it with me because it's up to 4 players. Oh, the coolest part about PlateUp, by the way, in my opinion, is that it's a remote play co-op game on Steam, which means as long as one person has a copy of the game, any of my friends on Steam, you included if you ever wanted to, you can play it with me. You don't have to have your own copy. I can just invite you to play.